There's a new financial empowerment center located in the Wayne County Treasurer's Office on the 5th floor of 400 Monroe in Detroit.
If you or someone you know needs help with their finances, budgeting, and making monthly payments, the Detroit Financial Empowerment Center can help.
Wayne Metro Community Action Agency has counselors ready to provide free one-on-one counseling to help you address issues related to utility bills, taxes, and other financial matters. We can also help you improve your credit score.
Good morning. This is November the 6th. This is a Friday, and this is an historic day across the nation. We have just entered into the unofficial realm of the 46th, number 46, the 46th President of the United States in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours is going to be officially named. You're looking for the weekly broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights. We're here, and I'm saying we because I'm here with my colleague. My name is Maureen Taylor, and I work with the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization, and you're going to get an official welcome at this moment because Marion Kramer, the national chair of the National Welfare Rights Union, is here today. So, Marion, would you officially welcome our viewers?
Good morning. It's been an amazing week. And I know a lot of you have a lot to talk about. You need to call in and digest some of that stuff. So I want you to remember that the call-in numbers are still the same. 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351. And we don't have it at the bottom right now.
It will be.
It probably come up. There, look at that. Look at our director. Look at him. The website is www.tv33.
Wait. You didn't see enough W's. You have to say that again.
I said 3 W's.
I don't think you did.
I don't think you heard.
You didn't say enough
Well, I
W's.
do it. You know how Maureen is. www.tv33.
Nope. You didn't say dot. Read
Please.
what's on the paper.
Why don't you leave what I got to
read what's on the
Why don't you be
paper.
quiet? 30. What's your boyfriend name?
Read what's on the paper.
The orange man. Will you be quiet?
It's in big letters. Read what's
She's
up on the
acting
paper.
just like him. The website is whatever I want to make it to be.
No.
www.tv33.
You still didn't say dot.
Well, Maureen, if you think everybody, will you be quiet and you say it when you get the
Oh,
mic.
have mercy.
33. WHPR.com. It's good to be sitting here today and see how things are unfolding around this election. People that we didn't even think had voted the same way we voted.
Yeah.
Step forward, because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it's time to step forward and let's change this nation. So I am very proud, and particularly of our class, showing their faces by going to and vote this past week. Keep on fighting. Let's get together.
All right. Well, now it's still unfolding, and the only part that's unfolding is the official part of this mess, right? So on my way here, I checked it out this morning, Georgia, and we were just talking about it. in my whole life, I never thought I would see a Southern, Civil War Southern state get flipped away from the Republican Party. I never thought I'd see that. That's
hell of
just
a
such a
step.
shock to me, you know. And I knew that child's Stacey Abrams.
Uh-huh.
That girl been organizing
been-
her back teeth
Oh,
off, you know.
Lord have mercy.
And got a
She's
team
been
on the floor,
tremendous.
you know.
She need to be one of the people that they select to
Oh,
be
I'm
a
sure
part
they
of
will.
the cabinet.
I'm sure they will because see, she was about the business of showing you rather than telling you.
That's right.
And so her and the group of folks that she had worked with, I forget right now the name of the
It's
the
several
group that
groups.
she called, but she's got one, and I forgot what the name of it is. But
If someone
a
can
lot
call
of
in
the
and
credit
who remember that.
belongs to her. But to flip Georgia, and that only happened this morning, because I was still watching this mess about 11:30, 12:30 last night, and Georgia had not gotten to
No,
that
they were still
over the
waiting.
line yet. And this morning, when I finally got up and took a look at it, the presumptive president of the United States, Joseph Biden, was up by more than 900 votes. And they still had another couple of 100,000 votes
Votes to
to
come in.
register. So that just stunned me to see that. And then what was going on in Pennsylvania. And Marion, that reminds me of when 2008, when Barack Obama first was running to be president.
Oh, yeah.
And how contentious that was. I thought that was contentious. That's because I didn't know that number 45 was coming. That was like a walk in the park back in 2008. And the whole East Coast of New York, to Boston, Massachusetts, and that whole group up and down the East Coast, they vote Democratic. Then the time zones change, and they have to come to where we are in Michigan and Chicago, Illinois, and we gonna vote Democratic. And then it goes to the middle part of the country, and that's where the Trump folks live, and the Republicans. So we talking about from what, Texas, Oklahoma, all of that, and they always are Republican voting, Republican leaning votes. And then you get to the West Coast involved in bourgeois politics, and the folks in California are always doing the Tootsie Roll. And you thinking, well, why y'all doing that? Because you have to come out here. And California, Oregon, and
tremendous.
Washington State waiting because they gonna vote for, at that time, the Barack Obama, and they was Tootsie rolling all over the place because that's what tipped it. And I was thinking maybe the same thing will happen here this time, and I'd be doggone if it didn't happen like that, with a few surprises, and that big one being Georgia. Now I think North Carolina, Georgia, on my mind. I think North Carolina, they couldn't change that one. And that's, I know
It's gonna
Reverend
take a-
Barber
it's
is going
gonna
to be
take
a
a
little
while.
bit upset about that one.
Well,
That's where he
I doubt
lives.
I doubt it. He, you know,
He be saying, "Come on, North Carolina. Come on, North Carolina."
But you know, we still got a lot of work to do.
Well, yeah, across the country.
Yeah.
Because look how
But
many
look-
people
but
did
look.
vote for him.
Yeah.
The other guy. Look how many did.
Uh-huh.
You know? So,
And then see, the other thing you have to understand, Maureen, is that when they think that if they vote for,
Republican?
yeah, that everything's going to be better for them because they move to try to, scare people into the process of voting for your boyfriend.
45.
Your boyfriend.
Well, somebody's boyfriend, but it would not be mine.
Let me say this, that
What a surprise.
Jackie was reminding one of my my daughter was saying yesterday as we was at the store. She said, "I can't forget when Obama was running, and then it shocked me that you came back and said almost the same thing." She said, "I called Granddad at the time, General's father, and said, 'Dad, what you think?' He said, 'Jack, I didn't think I was going to live to see this.'"
Yeah, 2008.
And not too long after that, we lost him. But it was a tremendous step at that time.
And it's still today.
And still
That's
today
still,
it is
you know,
because
08, Obama?
it means that we can't do what we did years ago, you know.
Things change.
Things change, and that was a changing situation. This is a changing situation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
And
it
we
is.
must look at this and find out what are some of the things that we did wrong and what were some of the things we did right.
Well, I tell you one thing, and I think your chair is still in that hole.
No.
Is it okay?
And maybe I'm
If
growing.
you don't pay attention, and if you don't have your eyes and ears connected to the community, and you have to leave Wall Street and go here to Main Street and look and see what it is that worries people. And the president was fixed. The current president, almost about to be evicted president. His eyes were always on Wall Street, always his rich buddies, his rich friends, where he took
That's
our
all
money.
he took care of.
And he took our tax dollars and just gave it to them in buckets and in barrels, right? And that was his concern. It was always the magnified trickle-down issue. If you give Mnuchin and the rest of these guys millions and billions of dollars, the owners of the airplane and airline companies, it would trickle down some kind of way to the rest of us.
Please.
But for whatever it's worth, and I remember that argument where people were saying Biden has to choose a woman of color to be his vice president. That is a significant choice, and look at what we got now. She is the presumptive, the almost Kamala Harris, the first woman of color. She's going to be the first woman, period, but woman of color that once it becomes official, she'll be the vice president of the United States.
Yeah, but
That's significant. That's significant. So we're talking about 2006. So we got some folks that listened to people on the street, and we said, our biggest concern is this pandemic. And you have to do something about this pandemic. No, we don't. We have to do something about
Until
this
they hit
pandemic.
them.
No, we don't. Even if, when it hit them, they didn't do nothing.
Not that-
I never seen nothing like it, and just didn't care. And I remember, you remember, some of the comments. It is what it is.
I
What
get
kind of
sick of that.
president
I get
says that
sick
kind of
that.
stuff? People are dying, and you talking about it is what it is. So just
And his children just as stupid as he is.
they might be more stupid. I didn't think Don
Oh,
Jr.
my
was,
God.
he's on TV.
Crying.
And I guess we better say something about that. And Marion, I want you to comment. President yesterday said, if you count the legal ballots,
Oh, I heard that
I won
nonsense.
easily. If you count the illegal ballots, I didn't win. They won. And if you count the ballots that shouldn't have been counted,
And the people said,
what did that mean?
and the people said on all channels,
There ain't no such thing.
what?
Talk about it.
Where's the evidence?
And he kept talking about we won. Well, who is
Where's
we?
the evidence? Show
You
us
know?
some concrete material
No,
that
he don't have
backs up what you're saying.
Well,
Yeah, but he always, like one commentator said last night, he always changes the subject when you back him up against the wall.
now, the argument in Detroit, and we were close to that one. The argument here down at TCF Center was that Republicans were not allowed to monitor and view the counting process. And I don't know how many times the clerk and everybody else, they had, what do you call those things? Magnifying glasses. I don't know how many times they had the camera showing people in the building, Republican challenger, Democratic challenger, at every table.
But no, let's look at our experience when we had we ran you and everything. Our experience said if we go even out that room and go outside, once we came back in, they would check us.
Yes.
Every
And sometimes you
time.
couldn't get back in the
You couldn't
room.
get back in.
This
I
was
mean,
very
it was
secure.
a continuous type of activity
Monitoring.
and everything.
But then the other thing that came up is that there were, I guess, 130 tables.
Yeah.
So you had to have 130 Democratic challengers and 137 Republican challengers. Then the other two people they can't open the envelope till everybody's sitting down.
That's
Open the
right.
envelope, take the ballot out, show it to the other folks, get it back, write the number of the ballot, the serial number, had to do that,
And the person
show
had
that,
to sign, yeah, and the person that was over that particular table had to sign.
had to sign off on it. All right.
That's
now,
right.
all of that was going on. But, Marion, what was said, and I think that I heard that from Baxter, Daniel Baxter, that, you know, it's a sensitive moment in time, 130 Republicans, 130 Democrats. Let's let some more come in. So they had almost 200, equal amount, 189 Republicans, 189 Democrats. They let them go in, and then they locked the doors. And that's when the fringe showed up outside the door.
Thank you.
And
Well, you
beating on the door and
Not
all of
even
that, man.
from Michigan.
You know, not from Michigan.
No.
Oh, no. Why you say they wasn't from Michigan?
They
You
weren't
mean
from
they
Michigan.
wasn't from Detroit? That was
That's
the
right.
Detroit ballots being counted.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
the Detroit ballots. All right, and the one guy said he was from South Lyons. Well, why don't you go to South Lyons
That's
and
what
see
he-
what they doing and go and count there? But yeah, that was the Detroit ballot that was being scrutinized and whatnot. And they said they found some where the information was wrong.
No.
The signatures didn't match. Then you
no
can't go in the batch.
evidence
None.
of anything. And then they took to the the person that was working back there. His job was to secure that door.
Oh, okay. People don't know what you mean.
Go on.
There was an incident, alrighty, and this was on Tuesday night, and there was a young African American
That's
young
right.
man. His first name was Daniel. I won't take it any further. And Daniel was working with a security firm who was hired to monitor the doors, people coming in and out of Cobo Hall, now TCF Center, and they wanted him to monitor doors, and they had all the, you know, we've been out to Cobo Hall a million times, and you got 100,000 people in there to monitor these doors
Different
because
places.
this is a security activity. So this young man was on the roof, and it just so happens that one of our members, Sylvia, went there to see what all the hoopla was because she had a ton of people out in front of the TCF Center, which were these Trump supporters, attorneys and other assorted nutcases. And they were all in front. So Sylvia, some kind of way, she ends up on the ramp and she ends up on the ceiling, and that's when she on the roof. And that's when she runs into this young man who's being harassed by some 40 or 50 other Trump supporters. What is your name? Where are your papers? What country do you come from? All of this kind
I
of stuff.
mean, just outright
you know,
chauvinism.
outright chauvinist, outright racist, outright frightening. And he's trying to tell him, this is just my job. I don't know about all this stuff you all are talking about. My job is I have to secure this door, and I can't unlock it. Oh, that means you got a key? Well, yeah, I got a key. Open that door. What would happen if you accidentally fell off Cobo roof?
You know what
What?
that means.
It was clear to me, and it was clear to Sylvia. So she heard it, and I told Sylvia, get to the wall. Don't get by this, because they'll throw you off the roof and swear it was an accident. So she called me the second time, and I was trying to convince her to get off. And she said, listen, listen. And she had a little phone, and she held it out, and I can hear him screaming at this young guy. What's your name? Where you come from? Let me see your ID.
I could hear him in the
Oh
background.
my
when I
God!
called.
You know that was horrible. So I made a couple of calls, called some of the crew I knew to call, and within less than 90 seconds, the door opened and my crew showed up. You know, our crew showed up. I want to know who's in charge of this out here. And of course, escorted them off the roof and whatnot. But that was so sad, so sad.
This one lady still tried to push her way in there and that type of stuff. And Jackie and I looked at each other and said, you know what, lady, you came to the right place to understand that you are not supposed to be doing this. Because although
sad.
we were calling Sylvia, and like I told her, don't do that without us no more. Although we were calling her and stuff, like, she stood the ground.
She did.
And stood right by that young man.
She said, I didn't want to leave him
I'm not
because they're
just-
harassing him so, and he's all nervous and upset. You know, so that it turned out right. You know, you
Yes,
just
it
wondered,
did.
Lord works in mysterious ways, put Sylvia in harm's way at that exact moment because that young man needed her. You know, never mind. You talk to him later.
Probably Sylvia.
Yeah, you know. So that turned out all right, and I was glad that that turned out all right because that was scary. But then the other thing, Marion, is this whole piece about the what the president said and how dangerous that was. You know, we won. So I'm not sure who the we is.
The we is him and his children.
You know, well, I think he was talking about more than just that. When he was saying we won, and how dangerous that was, and if it turns out that the election favors the other guy, it's because it was stolen from us. Well, who's the us?
And you know
Who is he
the-
talking about?
The
you
us
know?
is the
Well,
people he
you know,
represents.
it was a scary thing to say. And one of my friends, I told you about it, from down south,
Yeah.
called me to say that there were young hooligans in their trucks. These were Trump supporters with the flag and all that, riding up and down the backwood roads and shooting up in the air. See, that was a message, and I would say to people today, and Marion, comment on this. These Trump supporters got a fringe group that are dangerous. And they're going to be upset today. This is Friday. They're going to be upset all weekend long.
They're going to be upset for
you
quite
know,
a long time.
Well, yeah, but you know how your upset kind of goes down a little bit after a few days. But, you have to be careful with these folks right now.
They
I'll say something about this,
Maureen, they're living back in the days of when they could get away with this and, kill a lot of our people.
Yeah.
And they have laid the groundwork for that. But a new day is here. Because not only did we not take it from, we're not going to take it from Trump no more.
Multinational group now?
People are saying no more.
No.
And people on the international scene were saying
Yeah, what's going on?
they are happy that he did not win. So we have to understand that we got to think this stuff out and get a new plan. I keep saying that because we cannot let them constantly shoot our young people down in the streets, kill little babies and stuff like that. We got to clean. We got to get some brooms and do a clean sweep.
Well, let's say a little something about Gary Peters and John James. Now, this
Oh, my
young man,
God.
John James, I know the first time, when he was running against Debbie Stabenow, and I listened to what he was saying. I thought, well, a Republican, brown-skinned young
They
man.
put him like
let's
they
see.
used to do. They
know,
took him and made sure he got.
Mary, you have to move your chair up because you still too far back.
Maureen. Oh, I can't do it. I
Well,
can't-
okay,
I
then you
can't
have
do
to
it.
lean forward then.
Look,
Poor John James. Yeah.
he was a a young man. Remember the old saying, the spook that sat by the door? Mm-hmm. And they were using him that way. But at the same time, he didn't have enough sense to understand what was going on.
Well,
and he still don't understand what was going on.
When he was running this time against Gary Peters, and I'm not a rah-rah fan of Gary Peters. He hadn't done anything of tremendous significance, but John James represented himself as a Republican who was in favor and support of the president. What did he say? 2,000%.
Did you hear that?
Yeah,
that
really,
was something.
really.
Yeah.
But the thing that worried me, one of the first things that worried me about this kid was that he started talking about how he served his country. Well, Peters is a veteran too. And I thought it is unkind and something wrong about veterans attacking each other. And I never did hear Peters say this kind of stuff. But I heard John James talking about, a fellow veteran. And I thought, he probably should have run a different kind of a campaign.
They
It was
had him-
ugly.
It was he was mimicking
Yes.
the same way that the person that was behind him, in
that
other
money.
words, the money that they gave him, and for his wife, I thought that was quite terrible how she described him. Yes, I'm the wife of the guy,
The helicopter pilot with the big smile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, both of them need to go back to school. I mean, the school of hard knocks.
And I wonder about how that transfer would have happened. I don't know that this is true, Miriam, but I've been told that John James' dad
Yes.
was an activist and an organizer about, in support of civil rights. And he was a Democrat. And which wouldn't have mattered at that time because he was a person that fought against lynch laws and all these kinds of things. And I wonder, how did it happen that he ended up with this
Well,
kid?
that's kind of,
Class stuff. That's
yes,
a class analysis.
Very much so.
So one of the last comments, the last commercials that John James made, and he made a comment, something in there, unlike Gary Peters, I don't need this job. I thought that's some arrogance.
And I'm,
Why you running? I don't need this job.
Well, then if you don't need it, why you running?
What you doing this for? So, I mean, that might have been what they call the coup de grace. When he said that, the level of arrogance, I don't need this job. Why are you in here?
Yeah.
Boy, that was ugly.
I wish he had been at the factory. I mean, the factories we know. Not at the one that he tried to put show on TV himself.
Nice and clean.
Nice
I know
and clean and all that type of stuff. He should have been at some of the ones we know and say something like that, because they would have escorted his ass straight. Excuse me.
Hey, watch yourself. Watch yourself. Watch yourself.
Beep. Straight to the door. And I'm not talking about as far as the supervisors and all of them. No, I'm talking about the actual workers would have been in the front line, letting him know this is how you turn this and this is how you get out.
Well, it must have been the way he was raised. Something happened along the way to produce this kind of a conservative voice. And there's nothing wrong with a conservative voice.
No, it is not.
But, when he, that last little piece, unlike Mr. Peters, I don't need this job. Oh, God. I've seen him, John James, a couple of times when he was trying to recruit Detroiters when up there on Outer Drive, actually on Livernois, right off of Outer Drive. And he has not conceded. And as of this morning when I left the house, so
he was back on TV again?
Well, he was saying until all the votes are counted. I'm not going to
he
say
learned
that I
good
lost.
from his master.
Well, he's not going to say anything. But I tell you, a criticism about Gary Peters. Mm-hmm. Gary Peters was on TV yesterday, and one of the newscasters asked him, well, what do you say about your opponent, this young Republican, not willing to concede? And what Gary Peters said, and that was wrong. He said, well, it's disappointing and whatever the other word it is, and he's a sore loser, and he's been running for 6 years, and he's that. He shouldn't have said that. What he should have said was that young man ran an outstanding campaign. That's the way you come off clean. He did as best as he was able to do. I'm glad we did better, but he ran a campaign that was very vigorous, and he should be applauded for the hard work that he put in. That would have made Gary Peters be the stand-up guy. And now what we got is Biden that comes to TV and says, I don't want to be the president of red states or the president of blue states. I'd like to be the president of everybody and represent everybody. That's the stand-up kind of stuff you say. That's what you say if you want to be the adult in the room. Now, this young man figured that if he came to Detroit, that folks was going to vote for him. And I almost thought that, too. That's how we got Clarence Thomas.
Oh, my God.
And but for whatever reason, and you mentioned it already, it's a new day. And people were discerning and a little bit more critical and decided that the fact that this is an African-American was not as important or not a as a focus on the fact that he represented Donald Trump. And see, I thought, okay, that was the right thing. And I guess he's totally disappointed now because Detroiters did not support John James. They said, no, we're not going to support you over this other candidate that we may or may not love, but this Trump phenomena, we can't tolerate it. How many votes does Joe Biden have in terms of the popular vote? More than 4 million over Trump. And that's got to be, the spiritual thing for us at Welfare Rights, what we should be doing is collecting about $3 a piece from all of our members across the nation.
For what?
And we need to get some Eckrich hot dogs and some hot dog
No.
buns and some mustard and ketchup and those little bottles.
I'm
those
not
little
sending
packages
him nothing no
of
more.
sweet pickles. Yeah, he needs some sandwiches.
No,
I'm
I'm
because
not
he
sending
going
him
somewhere.
nothing.
He needs some sandwiches. So that's the spiritual thing to do.
No,
right?
heck, no. That's a waste of money.
Yeah, well, I was only
'Cause
talking
he-
about $3 a member.
I know. No,
He
no.
needs some sandwiches, maybe
No.
some mayonnaise.
No.
You know.
He wouldn't give us a glass of water.
Well, yeah, but we're better than he
and I don't
is.
care. This man done helped kill too many people.
Look at all these children he
Look
separated
at, all
at the border.
these babies. That plus all the people that have been
Died from the
And
pandemic.
outright murder.
Yeah,
Murder.
You didn't kill none of them. And in Michigan, what was the number? 5,710 yesterday. I almost cried.
Quicker than what it was in the beginning.
Oh, God. And when the governor was in charge of executive orders and telling people, you got to do this, you got to do that, and folks was mad at her. Nobody wanted to stay at home. But, Marion, the numbers were low.
Yeah.
And we were holding on to it. I got family members that died. I'll never get over Tyson. I mean, all of this.
Oh, Tyson.
All
yeah.
of this that didn't happen. And now, today, we're going to hear all this information about the president and the election. But, Marion, about 5:30, 6 o'clock tonight, they're going to give the Michigan pandemic numbers. Makes me tear up to think about it. Whatever else is happening, people are still dying. And one
Rapidly.
Getting
Much
infected,
quicker, they said, than
the
when.
first go around.
Mhm.
My goodness.
And the first thing, he beating his drums. One of the first things I'm going to do when I get in office.
Who you talking about?
For your boyfriend.
You talking about in 2016.
Maureen, just listen. One of the first things I'm going to do when I get back into office is I'm going to get rid of the doctor.
Oh, yeah. He gonna fire Dr. Fauci.
Oh, yeah, and
the
all,
lead-
and not believe in all that science,
Too much science.
Too
Sound like
much
a
science.
school kid. And, too much math. Too much science. Sound like a school kid, All right. So now, Georgia, Southern state, got flipped into a Democratic list. And I'm sure that the next time there's a big race in Georgia, they going back to the Southern ways. But this is an indication of how sick people were of Trump. Just outraged about him all across the country. So right now we're looking at Georgia, who's going into the Biden camp. Pennsylvania, that's going into the Biden camp. They're going to announce something. Matter of fact, by the time this program is over, they will have decided something. But they still counting votes in Pennsylvania. Still got a whole lot. And all of those votes are coming from, majority of those votes are coming from Philadelphia, African American, Latino, Native American, blue collar workers, and Pittsburgh, African American, blue collar workers. So those two communities are going to be the ones
wait a
that
minute.
put him over.
In one of those states, the way they've been beaten, talking about Mexican national minorities, some of them really played out and showed, it's not all that. What you've
Well,
been saying that all of us
All
are supposed-
Latinos vote the same.
It's
No, they
really-
don't.
No, they
Just
don't.
like all
Just
blacks
vote.
vote the same.
No, that is wrong.
And you talking about that difference in terms of the Hispanic vote in Florida and the Hispanic vote in Arizona. And the Hispanic vote in Florida a lot of Cubans, and they still got the Fidel Castro rage going.
Rage, yeah.
And so they moved toward Republicans. Venezuelans, they still got the anti-Hugo
Hugo
Chavez
Chavez,
stuff, so they going toward Republicans, and that's why I think the
Who came to
pundits-
our aid, a few years back when it came down to the increase in the gasoline and all
You
that.
talking about
kind of-
Hugo Chavez?
Yes.
And sent oil to Philadelphia, places in New York, all those homes that use oil. for
Yes,
heat,
right.
And he sent oil to thousands of people
Yes,
free
indeed.
of charge.
And I love
People don't talk about that.
one
Maybe
of
they
our
don't know.
welfare rights person had was
Who organized that?
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
You know?
So
Thousands
you
of
never know.
households. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
And
Hugo
let's,
Chavez,
I
now.
want to put this one back in too. Somebody on TV, one of the news commentators said, people got to be educated. He was saying they got to understand that the question of health care for everybody was not just something that was in Cuba and places like that. It was here.
Yeah.
And we need to understand what this man has used to get you to vote for him, and telling lies on
understand
touch of
that.
lies and stuff like that. So you just like a walking robot. I'll do
If
what
you
he say.
get separated from your job because of COVID, and you know that your health care is connected to your employment,
Oh my God.
and then after 30 or 45 days, you get that letter that says you have to go on Cobra and you have to make a co-payment from here on out. And then why would you support anybody that supported something like that? Well, I guess
They're
don't
gonna
have an
close up the
explanation.
hospitals. They're gonna the hospitals making goo of money right now. The thing is, we've
talking
been
stuff.
fighting welfare rights. We stepped out on a national level saying we want universal health care.
Long time ago. Caller, thank you for being patient. Thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. You are on the air, caller.
Thank you so much.
Can you talk just a little bit louder, or engineer, we need to boost up that sound just a little bit. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. I just want to say that what we got to start doing right now is preparing for the next election. We've got to get an affordable water
You on
plan.
target.
We've got to fight for affordable housing. Despite the results of Proposal N, we've got to make sure that people get put in these houses, that they can afford their water, that they get the kind of jobs that will
I was telling you,
give them the
hand
kind of
in.
money where they can support themselves, support families. We've got to hold the Democrats'
Yeah,
feet
he
to the
said that
fire
the other day.
until their toes are toasting, in order to make sure that we can make a living, that everybody's lives can go forward, and so that we can save the babies. God bless you, courageous sisters.
And thank you so much,
so
sir.
much.
Yeah,
And you keep doing what you and your wife keep doing what you're doing. We need you.
Okay, now, Marion, I wanted us to take a minute to talk about what does this moment need. What opens up for us here, and not that we all, we needed to get rid of this terrible person that was in office and his ways, and his children, and they making money and separating children and COVID deaths all over the place, all this kind of stuff. So we
Piss me
needed to
off.
get rid of him, but that doesn't mean that it's okay for us to sit down now and go to sleep and let the next group come in and not do much.
Let me add to
You
that,
know?
Maureen.
Yes, talk about that for a
I
minute.
want to say that I hate that a lot of you were not down at Central United Methodist Church, where we all came together. I was so proud to see all the various denominations that were there. And, when Ed Rose stepped to that microphone and said, and gave his, it was everyone had education to bring. you know, and he, it was really something to feel and see, because it was not just one. We used to Ed being with us, and we used to our minister being out there. Jill.
And Marion's talking about the Peace March that
Yes.
happened on Wednesday.
But we had not only Muslims out there, rabbis and everything, and one thing they all were in unity with is that,
the Council of Baptist Pastors.
yeah, we need to now stop sitting at home. We got to step up.
Yeah, we should be woke now.
We got to step up.
You know, we've lived through hell for the last 4 years.
Yes.
And now we should be woke. So Marion is so right. This is not the time to go back to sleep.
And old Maureen, was in her typical mood. She closed. It was good. It was really beautiful. I mean, it was great.
So now what
I wanna
the caller-
Say, I want
Oh,
to
go
say.
ahead.
I want to say that thanks to I know the ministers that we work with, they have always stood the ground
Norm Thomas was there.
for the benefits
Kellerman.
of the workers out here. They stand with the workers
All the time.
all the time, and be calling you to try to stand with the foundation. If anything, let's get rid of poverty.
Yeah.
You know, you can always depend on them.
Well, those pastors, those rabbis, those imams, and the lady from the Buddhist church, and I mean, all the denominations
Sandra.
were there. Yeah, Pastor
Sandra.
And it was awe inspiring. And when the group took off toward the march, went down to the Spirit of Detroit, and
We had the young folks,
the
too.
Trump rally truck showed up.
Yeah.
And I know they were trying to call for reinforcements, but folks
They
looked
left.
at them. Yeah, they ignored
They had
them.
to leave.
Yeah, they ignored them for a long time, and they ended up driving off. But I'm sure they was trying to call for reinforcements.
And I was so happy to see the Fight for 15 out there.
yes,
They
those
looked
young
so
people.
good.
Those young people were out there,
Uh-huh.
So now that happened on the 4th. But Marion, comment just a little bit about what the caller just suggested.
I just want to
Go ahead.
add one other thing. Christian was, I thought I had to look at him and say, he's a minister now. He was out Christian. He was outstanding too. I left that feeling
You
real.
talking about Tristan?
What did I say? Christian.
You said the Christians. I thought they had Tristan.
Tristan was there.
All right, and Christians was there too. But
Yeah.
you talking about Tristan?
Yes.
Wasn't he magnificent?
He was.
Oh,
I
boy.
really felt good. I really felt good.
on target. But all right, we down to about the last 15 minutes. So the caller that just called talked about the importance of not going to sleep.
Right.
Mary, now's the time to be talking about what do we need to do to get people to start thinking about organizing a third party. And
Oh, I
a
love
third
that.
party that gives credence and gives advice and guidance to whoever's in office.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't trying to join the Republicans, we ain't trying to join the Democrats, but we're trying to talk about forming a third party that says, here's what we have to have. And even, Marion, I want you to comment on this. Before, we can sleep for about 2 weeks. We got about 2 weeks we can rest up and go down to
Well,
the
I'm
river.
gonna change my phone number.
Well, as long as I can still
Yeah,
call
I
you.
do that.
But the door is open now, because what we need to have, and this thing ain't over today. It's gonna be some rigmarole and more lawsuits and all this kind of stuff. But
Listen.
Mary, we need to start talking about the programs over the next 4 years that we need to get installed. For instance, housing. Every
Everything
homeless
we've
veteran.
been bringing to
All the stuff.
to the table for years.
And now the technology is available so that there does not have to be a homeless veteran anywhere. And we need to start telling Miss Kamala and Mr. Biden, you got 90 days to do this. And what we'll do, we'll show you how it's done. And we'll put out a call. We ain't got Chapman no more. So, we need to start calling out the veterans who need a place to live and let's start moving them in.
And
We
let's
can't
bring
do it, move 'em
in the people that know how to build homes.
And we need to start doing
know-
that, and we need to start making those calls. And that also means, Marion, that land that is not occupied already in the city of Detroit, we need to be able to buy it for $100. And then it becomes yours. And so we get those people that know how to build houses and build a house here and build a house here and all the rest of this.
Where
and
you can be
subsidize.
comfortable in
Yes.
it. And I'm not talking about those little titty houses where you could be comfortable in them.
All right.
So,
Well,
we need to be able to do that.
our visions, and that means the visions of people that listen to this radio station. What do we need to do to get universal health care? I don't know how to get in contact anymore. I used to. Doctors Without Borders. You remember them
They're
guys?
still around.
So we need to be contacting them and talking to them about, write something down.
What
they
it
probably already
means.
have about universal health care.
Universal. Well, Dr. Dave. He
Yeah, we
always-
need
he-
that crew.
He's good. Our dentist. He's outstanding on that.
He is,
So
So we need housing.
Yes,
we
we
need
need
health
better
care.
better housing for seniors to
We
be
need
able
better
to.
houses for seniors.
And I'm not talking about the ones where the young woman comes in and try to get the old man's
Security.
money and
What
stuff.
about seniors coming together in
And
a collaborative and
designing
designing the
what
kind of
they
house
need.
that what they need? See, that's what we
They-
disabled people.
Go to the community and find out what they want.
And let's organize along those lines.
That's right.
Folks that are disabled, gather up some other disabled people. You already got Warriors on Wheels and
Wheels.
Quentin and all of those folks. Start designing what it is you need for comfortable living.
That's right.
And let them fix that.
And stop some of these cities like Detroit, Highland Park, Hamtramck, and all the rest of them from making decision at the expense of the community and putting money in your pocket.
And ain't ask us nothing about nothing.
Nothing. They didn't rezone stuff.
Yeah.
And I hope they got rid of a lot of those people that's on the rezoning board.
Well, we need for members of the community, now that the door is open, it makes me think about the Repairs of the Breach,
Oh,
Poor
yes.
People's campaign. And they running through this now. There's no reason for
We got a
anybody
plan.
to be out on the streets, on the corner, with a sign
That said,
talking
"We'll
about we'll
work."
work for food.
But
we
you
don't
know,
need that
and
now.
one thing we have, Maureen, over the last 2 years, we have a plan through the Poor People's Campaign that you and I, not just you and I'm talking about
Lots of others.
a lot of people have participated on to show concretely what is needed out here. If you have another plan, get on with us. We want a...
We gonna be moving.
Yeah.
Thomas Rudolph.
Oh, yes.
Tommy Rudolph, wherever you are. Danny Rudolph, wherever you are. And if you're not listening to this broadcast, whoever knows Tommy Rudolph and Danny Rudolph, and boy, them guys
Danny was
knew
something
how
else.
to put those locks on doors.
Oh, my
And we
God.
need locksmiths now. Nate Thomas, Floria Ellison.
Oh, yes.
Y'all at home trying to act elderly. Too late for that. Go on up there to CVS, get you one of them. They gray.
Don't get the
They
brace
look
she
like
has.
This one right here. Get you one of those gray knee, what do you call those things? Braces, and you pull it up on your knee, and you walk for 20 days without a pain.
Please.
We need veterans to try to get together. Well, I say we ain't got Tyrone Chapman no more.
No.
We ain't gonna get over that for a long time. But Cunningham and Richardson and Robinson and some of them guys and some of them ladies. We lost Genevieve
what's
Perry.
his name?
I'm talking about Jenny
no,
Perry. We lost her.
I'm talking about that's always there when we come off the TV that have fruits and
Paul.
Paul is dynamic.
Paul needs to get involved with some of these Malik Yahini and the rest of them guys that do gardens. And that would be, now who's the other one we lost? In Goldberg, what's her name? Juanita Newton.
Oh,
She's
my
gone.
God.
And she was an expert. San and Charles, I don't know if they got green thumbs, but we need all of Feldman, all those folks that do all that outside
Well,
gardening. Come on, y'all. Now is the time. Housing, food, concrete. I know a fella named Nick who does not have, did work over at your house, does not have a regular license. And
It's
had
hard to get those
you know,
licenses sometimes.
Well, he hasn't had one in a long time, but he is an outstanding plumber. Oh my God, you know. We need to find and organize field contractors. That's a new phrase. I just thought of that. Field contractors to get these folks together, get them trained. They
And get the
they
young
having a
people with 'em.
license or they don't, but send them to these houses so that we can get the plumbing, the carpentry work done, the all of Wayne Metro all the time. Telephone calls about leaks in the roof. Oh Lord, right around the chimney. We need people to work those kinds of jobs, and they can do that. Go ahead.
You know, Highland Park and Benton Harbor had been given the opportunity to get some extra money. Now, I'm not talking about the city on being on top of this, but I love how Nicole Hill, as well as our members have done, and Sylvia have stayed on top of this. For us, those, to get money to benefit folks, poor people in Highland Park and the different avenue, to be able to fix these pipes that have been here for over 100 years and bursting, and you can't, people don't have money to fix pipes. But we're going to be letting you know when there are meetings and trainings and stuff like that for you to help make sure that we are able to get these pipes in the right places.
And these are the kinds of ideas because, again, Marion, the window of opportunity is open. I think we should be raising a question about CCC camps. And I remember watching TV programs when you had millions of people unemployed across the country. Marion, we need roads fixed. We need bridges
Oh, my
fixed.
God,
we need
everything.
all these buildings and stuff. That
We
all
need the
these problems.
side streets
Hey,
fixed
we need all of that done.
before
Why
the
can't-
snow.
Marion, Snowden coming next week.
I
So
don't care.
That ain't,
Before the snow.
that ain't gonna happen.
Well,
Well,
hey.
let's do it like Marion says. Let's get it done or start it before next week.
Before
Okay?
next week. I'm kidding.
But these CCC camps had wages that they paid. They had houses built, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom log cabin houses with heat in them, and let these young folks, middle-aged folks that don't have a job, house them and give them a job.
That's right.
They don't never have to worry about being homeless. We got so
hungry.
much stuff needs
Hungry.
to be that either. That we have so many things that need to be fixed in this country, including
Oh, my God.
the pipes that you're talking about. So let's open up that concept and that conversation. By next year, they may not be able to get CCC camps set up in 2021.
But at
'cause
the
we
same
almost there.
time,
but
you
let's
go,
start
you
talking
put your
about it.
people on the, go to the people where they live and begin to find the young people or the older folks that have the knowledge on this stuff, and let's take care of these communities. Because I'm telling you, I am sick and tired of and I'm gonna say, people like down in Detroit saying, now we can't go back and give you that money back for the taxes and stuff that you stole.
We hear that all the time.
I mean, I'm sick of that.
So these are just a few ideas. We need more gardening, but gardening comes with something called canning. I think that's a lost art. People don't can vegetables like they used to. So we need to open
Well,
up some
marine
things.
technology moved to the point there.
Yeah, well,
You don't have to can, but you need to know how to can. Those that want to do it.
I've got people that come down to my job down at the school, and they bring me canned vegetables. And I'm so happy to get it. My grandmother used to can.
My mama and them used to do that.
So, we need to do something about food. Those folks that are standing on the corners with the sign that say we work for food, and it's a whole conclave, Marion, up there on 8 Mile Road in Woodward. right up under that overpass. It's about 7 or 8 folks. All I think they're all white in their late 20s,
No, they're
early
not all
30s.
white. There's some blacks out
you
there.
seen some? All righty. And we need to start there. Let's go get those young folks, find out what they need. And I'm told a couple of them are heroin addicts. You got heroin, opioid addicts, crack addicts
in the White House.
all over the place. Go get them. It's wrong for them to be allowed to sleep outside in the wintertime. It's wrong.
You're killing
we
them.
need to go, and that's the message, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I
we
tell
need to
you.
go find them, get them a place to live, get their
Them
health
a job.
together. Whatever it is, they might need, guaranteed income. They may not be able to work,
That's
but
right.
they need money and they need food. But mostly, Marion, I think you'll agree, they need somebody to help them. You know, we need to do some stuff about this. So all of the ideas, and that's you retired teachers, you retired plumbers, you retired carpenters, all of this kind of stuff. The chance to change the country, Marion, is knocking at the door. We can do that. We
All
can
right.
do that, you know. Marion, we're down to about the last minute and a half. I'll ask you if you take another minute. I don't know. I'm sorry. We forgot to raise any Highland Park issues. You know, anything
Oh, yeah.
we need to talk about?
One of our brothers that was a part of the Highland Park Human Rights Coalition, Jerry, who was the brother of Shirley Turner, and passed away. And his viewing starts today. And it's at the funeral home on
said
Dexter.
Dexter?
Uh-huh. And you need to call, I think around this evening sometime. And you know, here was the young man, in the sense, he wasn't young, that got out there with us, made sure he had his mother in the car with us when, you know, going out when we started taking on the water situation.
Yeah.
We have lost him, we lost his mother, and we lost Shirley.
All this year?
No, not all in the same year.
No, didn't Shirley pass earlier in this year?
It's been about 2 years for Shirley. And I tell you, things pass fast. But, you know, if you want more information, call the office and we'll gladly get it to you.
964-0618, 964-0618.
You should pay your respects to that family.
Yeah. All right. We're done with our program for the day, and I'm saying it like that because we're all exhausted.
Yes, we
having
are.
to work all these months and months and months to get the vote out, and things have changed, and we're glad for that. But that does not mean
hasn't
that
changed like we
you
wanted
have
it
to
to.
sit down and go to sleep. Our
That's what I
COVID
was-
numbers were 5,710 in one day yesterday, and that's just horrific and can't be allowed. So we have stuff to do. Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. Marion and I will be back.
Wear your
again,
masks.
Next Friday. And let's see. We got about a week that we can rest. And what about that new restaurant, Lynette's?
Oh, Lynette's.
Lynette's
yes.
restaurant in Highland Park
Oh,
on
my God.
Woodward Avenue.
It is good.
1 block north of Davison. Okay, Lynette's, and I haven't been there yet. I'm gonna try to get
Let's
up
go
there.
there today.
We go there today.
Yeah, 'cause
And
we gotta
us
get some greens
carry out and
and
candy
get us
yams
some,
and macaroni and cheese.
Some catfish
You
and
know?
everything.
Yeah, so we'll try that, but
owe
wanted to
ourselves
announce that. I have no problem with it. So listen, everybody, wear your mask. Stay vigilant. Don't forget the Trump people are going to be really upset. So keep a low profile. Let's don't have no extra stuff. And those of you on the east side, those of you on the west side that
Let's
cannot
come together.
find a way to have an argument unless there's a gun involved, this time we'll ask you to pick up a pebble. You mad at somebody? Pick up a little pebble and throw it at them, and then go on about your business. All right. We'll see you all next week, and goodbye.
Bye.